Hey guys, I recently got a Facebook question from my sister about single leg deadlifts and why it feels like you get more glute activation when the weight is on the open side. The reason is, if you had read my article on the weight on the open side, you would know with that your glute has to work a lot harder to resist internal rotation. The glute has two primary functions: hip extension and external rotation of the femur. Well, if I have the weight on the open side, I have to resist this femur collapsing the entire time. And because I've added that weight and that rotational component, my obliques, my abdominal, my core, my upper back, and this hip have to work extra hard to pull that femur in line so that it stays in a good externally rotated position, well, external rotation force, as I complete the exercise. If I use two dumbbells, two kettlebells, what I'm doing is essentially I still have to resist an external rotation, but the other side is going to even out the pull a little bit, so it's mostly going to be hip extension. Doesn't mean the glute doesn't work. It just means that I've taken one of those forces away. I can get a little bit more from the hamstring, which is also a hip extender. So I still have to work hard, just not as much in external rotation. So that's really going to be the difference between weight on the open side, weight in both hands. I don't really like weight on the working side, if I can get away with it, because this usually helps people externally rotate the hip, and I don't want that. If I'm going to do this exercise, I want that hip to fire extra hard for them to have to create that external rotation. It's not that one is better than the other. Some people, when you put the weight on the open side, it aggravates their back. They have a tougher time maintaining neutral back. Some people, when you go to two hands, they're more likely to round over and break at the low back rather than load the glute first and move from the hip. So it really doesn't matter whichever one you prefer. If I had my druthers, 99% of the time, with almost all people, I'm going to use the weight on the open side so I can use less weight, get a bigger hip demand, and really train both actions, that external rotation and the extension of that hip.